So I'm not a construction engineer. I'm originally I was quite good in IT, and I'm basically electrical engineer. So I'm going to give you a different perspective. So, but you will see it's a very interesting story. I don't know, maybe it was my worst decision. When I was in California 15 years ago, I decided to go to Stanford and present to them our ideas for BIM integrated approach, and they like it, and somehow I jumped into this business. Having in mind all inefficiency and problems in construction industry, I'm still wondering if my decision was good or bad. Somehow, based on this standardization and the idea from, let's say, IT perspective, where everything is standardized, everything is open, we share everything among each other, so I try to implement similar approaches in construction industry. And at the moment, I'm a member of Building Smart International Standard Committee. Also, I'm a member of FIDIC-EFCA BIM Task Force Group, and we recently published a document. It's called BIM Booklet, Reference to ISO 19650. I'm co-author of that document. It's very good guidelines for all engineers and project managers how to efficiently implement BIM and ISO standards. Also, I'm lead for BIM part of Horizon project Assets for Rail. That's one very, very good project where we try to integrate all sensor data for railway projects in Europe, and our Bexel Manager platform is essentially used as a central hub for all their data. Also, we are involved in several other projects, Horizon projects, and recently we submitted, again, it's called a CEDA BIM project. It's called, it's for roads. CEDA is European Association of National Highway Companies, and we submitted together with TRL from London and Royal Haskoning from Netherlands and ZAG from Slovenia. Two projects where we try to integrate BIM for an asset management data for highways. Also, I'm one of the co-authors with Xenia. I don't know if Istok was also involved, of National BIM Roadmap of Slovenia, and I'm lecturer on several universities, and we have very good collaboration with universities. So just a brief introduction about our company. We are 15-year-old company, and we have two things. We started just as a software development with our product, Bexel Manager. Now we have several other products, but somehow we jumped into construction business, and now we are doing a project management, even a design, and a number of additional, we are not doing construction, but because we try just to standardize everything, and it's very interesting, and really construction business has to change, otherwise the guys from IT or from some other businesses will jump in and take a number of jobs. I was recently in Munich, and maybe you can Google Catera company. The founder of Catera company was keynote speaker in BIM World Munich, one of the largest conferences for BIM. And this guy essentially is coming from flip-flops. His business was selling flip-flops. And now he is a key shareholder in the company, which is, let's say, most successful in California construction company now. And they're having a completely new approach where everything is standardized, everything is simplified, prefabrication, and this is the future. And his message in Munich was very simple. You guys, I don't want to convince you in anything. You have two options. One, to change yourself. Another, you are going to work for me. And that's really a true message. And he was a keynote speaker at this conference. So it's very important to understand the standardization and let's say looking at the construction business from different perspective is something which is very important. So about Bexel Manager, we are a platform for BIM integration. We are integrated 3D, 4D, 5D, and 6D BIM. And we have implemented so far our platform on over 12 million square meters. Now I'm talking just about high-rise buildings. You will see also examples from infrastructure projects. We are certified, IFC certified, ISO certified essentially by Building Smart, and fully support IFC and BCF formats, and we can handle really very, very large projects. Also, what is very important, as I mentioned in IT, we always collaborate and share. So we have our own API, so we can easily integrate our platform with any other solution. So we have we did this with number of companies, this integration, and this helped us a lot, especially, for example, for now, sensor data integration, because every manufacturing company has its own standards. So now they could easily integrate with our platform. So essentially, we have 3D engine, which do clash detection, quantity takeoff, budget analysis, tendering, and so on. We have 3D design check engine, which do design analysis and clash detection and number of additional verifications. Then we have 4D, 5D project management engine, and at the end we have 6D BIM facility maintenance engine. So here is, I'm going to also just give you several examples from one project. We were among the top 6 projects in the world last year. This is a project Sensatori Nickelodeon in Punta Cana, and the investor was Charisma. And and this maybe is very important. We didn't pay for this. But this was done by World Economic Forum. So they did the research. What is the, let's say, key technology in construction in the future, and which is going to have the highest impact? And the integrated BIM is on top. And that's very, everything else is of course important. Drones, 3D laser scanning, prefabrication, and all other stuff, but integrated BIM is something which is future. And in this case, I'm going to show you now one first video. It's 3 years old video, so it's not a brand new. Actually, now this project is finished. So this was done before construction commenced. This is for next World Cup championship in Qatar. And we are BIM project managers on this project, and Bexel manager is used for this project. So this animation, this project has more than 1 million elements, and the total value of the project is $600 million US. The total, with our platform, which can automatically generate tasks in a kind of intelligent and standardized way, the total number of tasks is more than 20,000. But what was very important is that you can very easy update 5D simulation with based on current progress. And actually, we are going to finish this project in a month. So here, why we say it's 5D, what does it mean 5D BIM? You have 3D model, you have time, which is 4D, and then by convention, we use the money as a 5D. Here are percentages because the exact data is classified, but the total amount, as I mentioned, is $600 million US dollars. So you can see with this idea is with integrated approach that you can really organize your works in efficient manner. You can track the progress, you can track monthly payment certificates, and you can really manage the project until the end. What is also very important is asset management aspect. So now every element has attached all documents, all COBE data. That's one standard we use for facility maintenance stage international standard. And so all maintenance plans are attached. So model is now fully ready for asset management stage when it's finished. So now just to give you the short overview about the key benefits what could be done in this integrated approach. These are just, we name them use cases, but these are just the most important ones. So first of all, visualization. So of course, for investor in this case, it's very important to visually see, does it like this project or not? So this is one benefit. Again, these are real visualization, not like in other systems where you have 3D Max when you try to impress someone. These, you can see all flaws even in this design. So these are visualization. Then you have to define all your processes, how you integrate the model. So in this case, we use a number of different BIM tools and integrate them within Bexel Manager. Then you can do design review, do optimization of design, which is also very important. What is crucial is the latency. So whenever you change something in design, you immediately have the impact on cost or quantities and so on. So you can really optimize something. In traditional way, when you change something in CAD, you need to spend additional 2-3 weeks to verify how the quantities are changed. Then automatically clash detection. This is something which is now commodity and standard. A number of tools have it. Very important is that you can easily, in less than a second, detect clashes. So for example, just one question now, it's more rhetoric question. So on that particular project, Al Ryan Stadium in Qatar, the total number of conflicts, clashes we have found so far, it's more than 100,000. And I don't want to name designers. There are 9 design companies, and the lead design company is one of the most famous. And they didn't do anything wrong comparing to previously done projects. The challenge is that we as humans cannot identify those clashes easily. Then quantity takeoffs, very important. You can visually see where those quantities are. So the risks in entire project management are much, much, much lower. And that is very important. Then there is what we standard. We have now, for example, in 25 countries, in America, in the UK, in Russia, in Kazakhstan, in Japan, in Korea, in Germany, in Italy, in Spain, in Slovenia, I don't know, Bosnia, Serbia, Austria, various classification systems and cost databases. What I envision in the future, and they can work easily in Bexel Manager. I strongly believe in the future, in 100 years, we are going to have the same cost database or the same classification system. I know that now someone is thinking, what I'm talking about, Germans will never change their standards. But that same story was, could you imagine 250 years ago, before French Revolution, when someone said, we will create one thing, we will call it meter, and everybody in the world except Americans and so Burma again, and will use this as a standard. At that time, we had more than 1,000 different measurements for length in the world. And we somehow agreed that it's for us efficient. The same goes with this. Why we need to have a different cost items classification? The buildings are the same. And gravity is the same, so there are no specific rules to have it. So, but anyway, in order to be present at the market, somehow now we develop these BIM cost databases. And they're very important for us, because when you know formulas and you know which elements, and this could be done automatically in our system. Unfortunately, we don't have so much time to elaborate this now. You can, in a second, generate entire cost for a building. And it could be later adjusted based on your experience. But this is something which is really feasible and doable. And if you think, let's say, as someone from, I don't know, airplane business or any other industry, you will realize that they are doing the same. They are having the tools and methods already developed for these things. So this is something we implement as one very important thing. Another very important, how we generate this 5D simulation. It's not manually generated. Simply building, we know number of information in the building information model. So we know that those works are concrete works. We know that those windows are on the 5th floor. We know that those ducts are in the building B, and so on. And then when we know all those details, because building information model is not visualization, but everything is about data. Data are crucial. Metadata are crucial for us. So we know that, and then we just explained with these methodologies to our software, to Bexel Manager, how to generate this automatically. And they did. And it did this automatically, and then later we could optimize schedule. Again, another you can then export this to Project Primavera or any other traditional Gantt chart tool for project management, but we strongly believe that the future, especially in construction business, is an integrated BIM 5D solution approach. Then you can do entire procurement, so you know all statistics, materials, everything integrated in one approach, in one system, and this is very important for managing, especially for general contractors. Then how do you do monthly payment certificates? We trained on that particular project four field engineers. General contractor is Larsen and Toubro, one of the largest general contractors in the world, and they just isolate the elements which are done every month. And immediately they have monthly payment certificate. So that's not endless discussion, you know, you are wrong, no, we are good, you know, you forget this, give me additional works and so on. It's very clear communication, and it's at the end beneficial for both parties, because at the end, you know who wins if this is not clear? Wins attorneys and lawyers, and not we. And that's what we want to let's say, avoid, if possible. Then you have integrated consistency control at the end, which is very important. You can overlap laser scanning or any other real data from the project and verify if it's according to construction, according to plan design. And what I want to mention now is about commissioning and asset management stage. So with commissioning stage, you can visually identify which is completed, so which is approved, which is in progress, which is not, which is failed, and so on. In traditional approach with CAD drawings and manually checking, you forgot to verify usually number of elements in the building because it's done manually, and we as humans cannot have the idea about the all elements in the building. What is now very important is 6D maintenance stage. So what we do, we integrated every element or group of elements with documents. So it could be as-built documents, could be photos, could be user manuals, could be as-built drawings. So any data which is important for us, we integrate them, and we have what we call visual BIM cost data, visual BIM database. So it's not just the documents, but they are always connected with BIM model. This is one highway project where we now, when you isolate this element, you have all maintenance plans and documents attached to it. So you know what you're supposed to do, and all maintenance plans are directly attached. You can see that the period, everything is defined, and this is very important. This helps us in maintenance stage. So these are documents. I isolate boiler, I see this. I now define here all maintenance plans, so everything could be done to the specific element, group of elements, and which is very important. That's what we are, for example, now doing in Assets for Rail project. We are now not just integrating maintenance plans, they are already there, but sensor data, because this is, again, new level of abstraction, which is very important for asset management and facility maintenance process. So what is good also, when I isolate the maintenance plan, it immediately shows me where are the elements which are related to that maintenance plan. And this is very, very important. So these are all activities, entries, what's done, when it's done, and so on. And you can plan entire process on desktop level, or this is our cloud-based solution. So all those maintenance plans and documents are on the cloud. So this is, and at the end, the idea is that user have the ability to have everything prepared if it's properly done from day one, for facility management and asset management stage when the project is finished. So what is important, this is also APIs, and we had interesting discussion last week, actually 10 days ago in Düsseldorf, and the idea is to two things. We, as let's say, we are talking about in digitalization of construction industry. We got a round table and now decided to create a new room in Building Smart. It's called Digital Twin Room. And our vision is that by standards, one, I mentioned IFC, second one is BCF, there are a number of additional standards, and by developing APIs which will enable our tools to collaborate, we will have future much, let's say, better for construction business. So these are various reports and so on. So this is about, you know, you can follow us on this detail. But this is essentially very important for integrated approach. And I would like also to show you, now you can even ask questions about, let's say, something we did 2-3 days ago. We finished this. This is an integrated system we did together with Obermeier. It's one metro project in Germany, and actually tomorrow this is going to be presented to Deutsche Bahn, because the idea is now they're evaluating this approach for their future projects. You know that now Deutsche Bahn decided to invest huge amount of money in improvements in their railway network. So here you have, this is from, let's say, Bexel Manager. You can visually see every element, group of elements. Here are now additional properties data. Then you can isolate based on certain groups, categories, quality of, let's say, earth and so on. So these are group of activities. So, and for every of these elements, you can immediately see if, let's say, they are properly defined, if something is missing or not. The system can automatically do various, let's say, as I mentioned, clash detection, so we verify design. We can collaborate with others, so BCF format is used for collaboration. Then this is a 5D cost estimation. So over there we are using a national German standard classification. And here is how we do that. So we explain to the system which elements with which formulas supposed to be attached to the certain cost items in German classification system. And when you do that, the system, you will see now, you can import this, and the system will now automatically, there is a magic button, it's called auto assign. So now he used all those formulas, and you will see with auto assign, here is entire cost. We see that it's 44 million. And then this could be adjusted. And what is very important with this, whenever we change design, and only one constant thing in construction is number of changes. And whenever we change design, update design, the system will automatically give us the updated cost. And then this is a methodology, again, developed, tailored to the needs of German methodology for railway and metro projects. And the system, by knowing that methodology, automatically create this Gantt chart, animation. There are a number of things now, we don't have so much time, but the resources, leveling, planning, and so on. And this is, at the end, you see that this is, let's say, a sample now, video automatically generated with all cash flow analysis, resource usage analysis. So the idea is really to have something as an integrated approach. Then, as I already mentioned, you can track the progress based on real data, earned value analysis, planned versus actual, and so on. And what is also very important, to have properly defined asset management and facility maintenance data, and have a full solution ready for facility management. Thank you.
you very much, Veljko Janjić, for very nice presentation. Are there any questions or comments to the presentation?
We can change the computer. Yeah. You can leave it for now. He will come.
Okay. Please.
When there is any change on the buildings, how do you calculate the human cost, like the workers?
When changes are happening. Okay, so we call this BIM cost databases. So you have a standard cost database with classification system. You have two additional properties. First one is called formula, and the second one is essentially you explain to, it's called BIM query. So the system automatically, when you have properly defined BIM cost database, find certain elements and then use a certain formula for quantification. So it could be volume, could be area, if it's formwork, could be twice by area. Or just to give you an idea, in ex-Yugoslavia, it was a standard when you're doing a painting, when the wall is less than 3 square meters, you're supposed to add 15% on top, just for small walls. And the same is for with new rules of measurement of SFM 7 standard in the UK. So you can apply a different formula for the same type of work based on the just size of that element. Or in the vertical transport, what you can do, if it's on the 50th floor of the building, you can add additional percentage for crane work, comparing to the wall on the first floor. So this is what we strongly believe is the future of quantity surveying and cost analysis.
Yes.
Okay, so this is just example, just to go here, how planning looks like. So these are per every month, not just visually what's supposed to be done with the entire cost data. So, we try really to simplify the process. Okay.
Have you estimated the cost that you have win with the avoiding of the classes in Qatar? And how many costs all the BIM facility implementation?
About the first question, the process was defined. We were in charge of management the entire process, so it was twice a week. It was too much, but the Supreme Committee, the investor requires twice a week the model was updated. So you immediately send all clashes to designers, and they have to update this and submit twice a week updated model. And that's how we solved all those clashes.
Yes, I'm asking you about the rentability of applying BIM in this case.
This is a very good question. What we realized at the end, that it didn't took more time to designer comparing to traditional design. And now, for example, where we are designers, we never go with traditional way, because for us it's faster to do design fully in BIM. Not just that, whenever changes are coming, we can do those changes much, much faster. So that's why we are using BIM, not just because it's requirement, but because it's beneficial for us. It's faster, more reliable, and adaptable to changes. So when we defined all those processes, there were no any additional work. What we realized is that essentially it was slightly less than would be with traditional. Of course, you need to have, let's say, some sort of learning curve. So if it's your first project, then maybe you will need certain additional time. But now all main design companies in the world are working in BIM. It's not a question of.
Yes. I've read sometimes that the design must, in the first phases, as you said, grow about 10% in the design, but it avoids more or less 5% in construction. So this is the BIM is very, very, very valuable, and avoid costs in the construction, very important.
Just sorry about this duration, but just I have to say about BIM. And whether or not use BIM. You know, there are two options. We who promote BIM, supposed to be hired as directors of marketing for Coca-Cola, because we somehow convinced all major countries to use it, or there is some value in it. So there are just two options.
Maybe
Thank
just
you.
one question, Veljko. What is the proportion of information that you get from the authoring environment for geometry and the amount of information that you store in the model, and which information is missing?
Okay, good question. So what I presented in Düsseldorf, exactly, we now discussed about standards for quantity takeoff. First, very important, all quantities supposed to be extracted by BIM authoring tool. Because, for example, we have our tool, it's called Bexel Infrastructure for tunnels. There is no chance that with all those curves and so on, any other BIM management tool will calculate properly quantities. So we in authoring tool can do that. Additionally, what we have implemented also, there is Istok is here with Linal, very good use case we got in Slovenia, that they enriched the data. We agreed on that, and they enriched the data in design stage in a proper way, so we could, together with DRI, develop an entire 5D BIM simulation in our platform.
And what's the integration back to authoring environment? So where does the changes go?
Yeah, for example, in our system we have API, so you can easily by yourself or by us write any code to transfer data back to the, let's say, authoring tool, or to, let's say, ERP like SAP or Microsoft Dynamics, or now it's Microsoft Business Intelligence. That's very, very cool new tool. Not new, but new for construction industry. So very, very useful tool. So we can collaborate with them as well.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Svante.